Hi all, it's the 6th of May 2016 and it's Dan here from Essex United Kingdom. So, at the allotment, 20 degrees today. The warmest, if not close to the warmest day of the year we've had so far, and this really is, look at that cabbage butterfly. You won't find any cabbages in there though, they are all broad beans. So yeah, good temperatures, 20 degrees, the plants are loving this. And we're expecting some rain early next week, so that's just what we want. Nice bit of heat and then a good rain, and this will get things growing. So look at these are broad beans. The majority of you will know what these are, but these are a great thing to grow, they really are. As they get bigger you have to tie them up, but you can see there's probably in excess of 50 plants here, and these will get a lot bigger than this. Probably they're about 3 foot tall, so they should be about maybe 4, 5, 6 feet tall when they're finished, but you can see there's a lot of flowers on them, which should all hopefully turn into broad beans. So that really is good. And we've got the usual veg that we have growing here. Cabbages are starting to heart up. So basically a few people have asked a little bit about this sort of structure that we've got here in order to protect the cabbage crop. Although this is not good. This must have blown off in the wind, so I'm going to have to tie this. But anyway, yeah, how to protect the cabbage crop from cabbage butterflies, as you've seen already, there certainly are around. So looking at this, you can see what we've got here. Now, some people cover these up with a smallish sort of cage, but I think it's nice to use something that you can at least sort of stand up in, depending on how tall you are, because of course you want to be comfortable whilst you're gardening. So what we've got is just some basic wooden posts. Now these wooden posts have got a spike at the bottom, and you simply just drive them into the ground. And all we've got here is just some basic net. Now you want to try and get the net, as small as possible so things can't get through. I mean, it's inevitable a little bit. A few little butterflies are going to get through, and birds, of course. These offer protection from birds as well. But the birds certainly can't get through this, unless you get a hole in it, of course. But you might get the odd butterfly that can get through this. But you want to be getting close knit as much as possible, sort of netting. And all you simply do is tie it to the posts, and then you've got your cage, if you want to call it that, your netting, in order to protect your crop. So that's a very important thing to do if you want to get a good crop, because we all know that birds and cabbage butterflies can completely decimate brassica crops, among others. So we can see the rhubarb really is starting to grow very well here. Really cannot complain at just how well this is all doing. So there's such a vast array of nutritious vegetables, and including the rhubarb here, fruit, from this allotment. So we'll be waiting for broad beans. Oh, here we go. Can you see that? Bumblebee. This is, I will admit, I didn't set these here, somebody else did. But somebody has put some broad beans within a cage here, or netting. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, to be honest, but somebody certainly has done it. But it's best to grow broad beans out in the open like this, so that there we go, there's a bumblebee, so that the bumblebees can get to your, here we go. Sorry mate, don't want to disturb you. Zoom in. It's gone now, it's down there somewhere, so that the bumblebees can get in and fertilise your beans. Lots of work to do down here, there truly is. Truly need to really get stuck in, but as you guys know, I've had another project on the go, a garden clearance, so this unfortunately has had to take second fiddle. But it's not going anywhere, it's all growing away. Onions are looking amazing, or garlic, whatever they are, and we've still got a few Swedes left. So yeah, everything is looking how it should. We've mainly got sort of brassicas down here, broad beans, that sort of thing, but we will be having some runner beans down here, probably in these bays here. We're going to get some of the older horse manure on these beds to further enrich the soil, which is what you want to be thinking of when you're sort of, I think the mistake that so many people make when they try and grow sort of their own fruit and veg is they seem to want to just grow things in the soil and not put anything back, you know, or they'll just put a little bit of artificial fertilizer down. But I honestly think you want to learn a little bit about manure, compost. I'm not saying you have to be a scientist, because of course you don't, but you want to be, you know, learning things as much as you possibly can, so you can further enrich your soil, and your allotment or your garden will reward you for it, because you will then get better crops, and you'll be also less likely to get disease, because you do get people that will just keep going nuts, keep growing the same thing in the same soil year after year after year, which of course you really don't want to be doing this. You want to be, you know, learning about crop rotation. You want to be learning about what is good to follow another crop, a catch crop. You want to learn what can fit in a particular sort of area. Say if you've got an area that's sort of not being used for a short space of time, you might think about putting something like radishes in, which will crop quickly. So there's so much you can learn, but don't just chuck it in the ground and expect it to do well, because you really need to learn how to enrich your soil accordingly. These are the sorts of things that I think, anyway. I suppose really with the modern day way of doing things, arts like simple things of putting manure on the ground are lost, which, you know, it's not really the sort of art we want to be losing. We want to be keeping things as much as possible alive, because we may not be able to rely on artificial fertilizer, and of course nor should we really want to, because natural of course is good. I mean, I have read research saying that organic crops are more nutritious than non-organic crops. By organic I mean grown with an extremely limited amount of fertilizer, fungicide, insecticide, rodenticide. You get the drift. Of course, in this modern world, to achieve 100% natural in more or less anything you do is going to be extremely difficult, but nor am I saying that it always has to be that way. But I think it is beneficial for people to eat as much organic produce as possible. Okay then, I hope you've enjoyed this allotment tour. Once again, if I don't get back to you guys, if you leave me questions or comments down below, I do apologise. Extremely busy at the moment, but to everyone who watches my videos, I do appreciate that very much, the support, and I do have another plan. Yeah, I might be taking on another allotment soon, so hopefully you know, obviously I imagine if I get the allotment it will be disused and in a complete mess, so I'll show you some good ways of clearing sort of rough ground from grass and weeds, etc., without necessarily the traditional way of digging it and hurting your back in the process, for example. So stay tuned for that one. I believe I'm about 4th on the list for another allotment, so hopefully it won't be too long, because people get allotments nowadays and of course they realise they're a lot of hard work and ditch them accordingly. Take care, speak soon.